Hello, friends. Welcome to the Capitalize Your Best podcast. My name is Gordon Duncan. I'm the owner of Capitalize Marketing and Consulting. And this show is part of the larger Capitalize Your Best podcast network of shows. On Mondays, we have This Is Gonna Hurt, which is about making a better you. On Tuesdays, we have Coach Training Partners, where we help coaches grow their revenue or even create their own programs. Today, Wednesday, is Capitalize Your Best, where we work on marketing and business growth. Thursday, we don't have a formal podcast, but we do have an 11 a.m. coaching call, which takes place within the Capitalize Your Best online community. And then on Friday, we have You're Entitled to Your Opinion, which is a fun review show where we talk about movies, games, interviews, that kind of thing. But friends, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot going on. First of all, thank you everyone who has purchased the Capitalize Your Best Daily Reader. If you haven't gotten your copy yet, please, 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 you can get it on Amazon. It's in hardback, paperback, audiobook, Kindle. I would put it on Abacus if I could, but get it. It goes through the 10 pillars of capital that we all have in our lives that we can grow from. Things like growing your body capital, your faith capital, your mind capital. Check it out. Thank you, everyone who has purchased a copy. It means so much to me. And also, as I mentioned before, we recently launched the Capitalize Your Best online community. Now, this is a community apart from social media, and in it, we have conversations around the 10 pillars of capital. You can comment, you can post videos. We post in there daily encouragement. We have the weekly coaching call at 11 a.m. on Thursdays, and then we have an end of month seminar every single month. So friends, thanks so much. There's so many things you can do in there. If you're interested in it, check it out. I've got a 7-day free pass for you, and it's $29 a month beyond that. So friends, check it out. We also have a Wednesday book club. I didn't even almost forgot to mention that about the Capitalize Your Best Daily Reader. A lot of things going on in that community is growing every single day. And then also on the third Tuesday of February, we have the Grow Your Faith Capital Workshop. This is part of the third Tuesday Thrive series, and it is going to be specifically about growing your faith, something I've never done before. So reach out to hear about that. But today, let's get to the Capitalize Your Best podcast. And I have an interesting topic. This is that kind of week because, yesterday's Coach Training Partners podcast was about 3 reasons not to be a coach or not to go into coaching. Today, I've got 3 unlikely sources of business success. 3 unlikely sources of business success. So let's just hop right in, okay? Number 1, the most unlikely source of business success is the skill of resourcefulness. Now, let me hear this out. I heard a podcast the other day, and Tony Robbins was coaching in his TEDx, and he told someone, he goes, the greatest resource you could have is resourcefulness. Because people are like, oh, I don't have the things to start my business, or I don't have the money, I don't have the time. And he goes, if you're resourceful, that's your greatest source. So for us, the most unlikely source to start Capitalize was resourcefulness. I'll give you an example. When we started Capitalize, I originally had a business partner, and the company was called Concept to Profit. A terrible name, but we got through it. And we needed to do a couple $100s of things for startup, the business license and the EIN number and all that stuff. So you know what we did? We looked around, like we didn't have an extra couple $100 at the time. We pawned jewelry. Took jewelry. I went to the pawn shop. My dad used to work at a pawn shop, believe it or not. So I went there and I was like, I need it. And I knew how much money I needed. I pawned the jewelry, got enough for it, and we got our EIN number and our business license. Isn't that amazing? Resourcefulness. We could have said, I can't start a business. I don't have the money to do it. But instead, we looked around and said, what have I got to do? And I found the thing that we needed, and that got us there. If you are resourceful, you can do almost anything in your business. It is an unlikely tapped resource, and it's resourcefulness itself. So what can I do? Lean into that, and you're going to have business success. So the greatest resource is resourcefulness. Okay. Number 2, another unlikely source of business success is desperation. You're like, Gordon, I don't get it. I don't want to be desperate. I don't want to be desperate either. I've been desperate. Right after I bought out my old business partner, we had a resurgence, recalibration. The business is doing well. And then it was Thanksgiving, and I didn't check the bank account at all over Thanksgiving. And then on that Sunday night, I needed to write a check for payroll. And I went and looked, and all our money was gone. like almost $20,000 was gone. It had been stolen from our account. Someone had gotten hold of our debit card and they bought a bunch of plane tickets. And then I couldn't get the bank to reimburse us, and I had to file a complaint with the government and all that stuff. But you know what? That was one of the best steps of success. I was desperate. What am I going to do? I have to go get revenue. Like all of a sudden, I found a new level of push, a new level of drive. That desperation was one of the greatest elements of success of Capitalize. And I always hold on to it in some way. And I've been back there before. And I tell you what, guys, if you don't have a level of desperation, it's going to be hard for you to succeed. At some point in time, you're going to get beyond that. You're going to find new levels of motivation. But if you're desperate and you're resourceful, you almost can't be stopped. If you're desperate and you're resourceful, you can almost not be stopped. I remember that day I was yelling and screaming at people on the phone, banging the table. I was so angry, and I finally got there. But you know what? I just had to get up every day and I had to go to work. I was resourceful and I was desperate. Number 3, here is an unlikely, I'm telling you what, an unlikely resource of success. Okay. Hear me out. Wrong target market. You're like, Gordon, that doesn't make sense. I was like, listen, you won't succeed with the wrong target market, but it will be success if you see it and you make a correction. When we got started with the business, we were doing anything. We were doing social media, and then we were going to do like ghost marketing for a missions agency, and then we were going to put on these events. We were just throwing stuff all over the place, and it was all the wrong target. It didn't line up with our strengths. The numbers didn't make sense, and the company was just kind of floundering. I wish we had had better targets before then, but once we figured it out, we made the correction, and we saw that we had a wrong target. I did the work, I made the correction, went in the right direction, and the business went like this. We had that hockey stick growth, right? All of a sudden we had like $250,000 in revenue one year from that, right? So if you see you have the wrong target market, this is your chance for success, because if you correct, then all of a sudden you are going to take off. Because if you take that resourcefulness, you take that desperation, and you point it in the right direction, it's almost impossible for you not to succeed. So friends, these are 3 unlikely sources of business success. One is if you're resourceful in and of itself, you have a chance to succeed. You add a level of desperation to it, almost unstoppable. And then 3, when you see you have the wrong target and you make a correction and you go in the right direction, sky's the limit. So friends, I hope this has been helpful. Reach out to me, especially if you want to join the Capitalize Your Best community. I'd love to give you a free 7-day trial with a lot of great things happening, not just with me, but all the people who are working with Capitalize Your Best, our clients, our community. I'd love for you to be a part of it. So friends, hang in there. I hope the snow goes away soon, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much, friends. Bye-bye.